Good day, everybody. How's everybody doing? This is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati. And in this video, I'm doing a direct response to Leslie Chambers' challenge to the G YouTubers to list their top 10 Kaiju battles and their opinions. So, top 10 list of that. And this is my direct response to that, Leslie. I hope you like my list. Mine is different than yours. There are some similars, but there are some differences. So I enjoyed compiling this list. I thought about it for a couple hours today and whittled it down and got my 10. And then I took the 10 and numbered them 1 through 10. One was easy, but the rest weren't so easy. But number 1 was definitely the easiest because I know what that is. We will go on to number 10 on my top 10 Kaiju battles list of all time. Let's go to number 10 right now. My bad, guys. I meant to mention I had two runners up that I should have mentioned, so I came back to do that. My two runners up, or no sequential order, are Godzilla Raids Again from 1955. The significance of that film is that we see the first Kaiju versus Kaiju battle with Anguirus versus Godzilla, and that set up the whole plethora of Kaiju versus Kaiju films from then on. So that is a very, very significant movie in my opinion, just for that simple fact. Anguirus is the significance. It's the start of the Kaiju on Kaiju battles. My other runner-up is from this year, the Godzilla versus King Ghidorah and Godzilla King of the Monsters, the final battle in Boston. In my opinion, that battle, King Ghidorah, the roughest time he's ever gave Godzilla in any film, just my opinion. He nearly killed Godzilla. I don't remember King Ghidorah ever nearly killing Godzilla really as closely as he did in the 2019 film. That was an epic fight, an epic battle. I know some people had issues with it, but I just loved it. I loved the fight. There was plenty of hand-to-hand combat. There was plenty of gravity beams and atomic breath and everything. And again, I will say, does Godzilla win without Mothra doing what she did? I don't know, maybe. I think she was, in my eyes, she was part of his infuse of the fire Godzilla when she died and her essence fell on him. And it was, I think if you watched the movie, if you notice when it fell on him, he sparkled red. His skin tone, his skin sparkled red when her dust fell on him. I believe it was red, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think her essence is what helped the fire Godzilla come out of him, along with the nuclear factor. But does he win without her help? I don't know. I really don't, because Ghidorah was really putting the hurt on him. But those are my two runners-up, Godzilla Raids Again and Godzilla King of the Monsters, the final fight, Godzilla and King Ghidorah. Now we'll go on to my number 10 right now. All right, everybody, I'm back. Here is number 10 on my top 10 list for the top 10 Kaiju battles of all time. Number 10 is Gamera versus Gyaos from 1967's film Gamera versus Gyaos. This is the final battle. They had multiple battles in the film, but this, to me, the final battle was my favorite. The intrigue of that battle was the humans had to help, in my opinion, help Gamera. They figured out that the light of day would make him weak and injure him, and so they figured out to get him dizzy and mess up his equilibrium, and they built that contraption on top of the building and was spinning it, and it had some fake blood that tasted like humans in it, and it attracted Gauss, and he landed on it, and he started to drink it, and then they started spinning that thing, and got him dizzy. And then about the time Gamera showed up, Gauss's equilibrium was off, and he couldn't fly or anything, and it enabled Gamera to defeat Gauss, in my opinion. If it wasn't for that thing and that deal the humans did, the Japanese people did, the military and such, I don't know if Gamera beats Gauss, because Gauss was just wreaking havoc all over. But I think that got him enough, and then the sun was rising, and that weakens Gauss, injures him and weakens him enough that Gamera was able to grab him and drag him into the volcano and put it into Gauss. But that was a good battle, and it was the intrigue of it was, to me, the humans, the Japanese people, and their involvement in defeating Gauss, because I feel, in my opinion, if they do not do what they did, can Gamera beat Gauss? I don't know. So this is number 10 on my list of the top 10 kaiju battles of all time, Gamera versus Gauss. We will go on to number 9, my number 9 on my list of kaiju, top 10 kaiju battles. Let's move on to number 9 right now. I'm back, everybody. Here is number 9 on my top 10 kaiju battles of all time. Number 9 is Sanda versus Ghayra in the movie 1966 movie The War of the Gargantuas. They had a really good battle at the end of the film, I think. It was a very, very entertaining battle. They were hitting each other with everything they had, throwing each other into buildings, just making a mess of things. The military couldn't affect them at all. I don't think they would have been able to beat them at all. It was just crazy luck that the volcano showed up in the ocean, and crazy volcano just opens up in the ocean, and that's what took them down. But as far as the military, they were not doing anything to them. They were just like fleas to them. They were totally hell-bent on destroying each other. So it's really, really good kaiju battle. This is number 9 on my top 10 kaiju battles list. Sanda versus Ghayra from the 1966 film War of the Gargantuas. I'll move on to number 8 right now. And number 7 on my top 10 kaiju battles list of all time is Godzilla and Minya versus Kumonga from the 1967 film Son of Godzilla. I don't know, maybe some people might think it's a kind of off-of-the-wall pick, but I'm a fan of this film. I know Matt Jacobson, a.k.a. Gojira 851 on YouTube. He is a big fan of this movie and this film, and I'm figuring he will appreciate this pick and being in the top 10. But I just love the battle in the film that takes place between Godzilla, Kumonga, and Minya, of course. Minya, Kumonga had just been woken up, or Spaiga, they call it in the movie. I call it Kumonga, but had just woken up and risen, and Minya stumbles upon Kumonga, and of course Minya's he's a goner. There's no way. And Kumonga starts webbing him and tying him up, and then about that time Godzilla shows up and saves the day. But I do love the fight, because Godzilla earlier in the movie had been trying to train Minya to do his fire breath instead of the smoke rings, the atomic breath rings, to do the actual powerful breath. And it's just funny how he was training him in the movie, and that came into play in this fight. But Godzilla shows up, and him and Kumonga start having a battle, and I like when Kumonga goes up to Godzilla and kind of stands up on his legs high and trying to battle Godzilla. They have a pretty good fight, I think. And Kumonga takes it to Godzilla. He gets him down on the ground even, and starts webbing him, and Minya runs over and is trying to help him up. It's just funny. But Godzilla finally manages to get himself back up and gives him a good atomic breath, and it backs him down, and he goes into he folds his legs, and it kind of looks like he's dying. And that's when he hits him in the eye, and Godzilla has the eye patch, and he holds his eye like this. Custom here is holding his eye, and then from then on, I think that just more or less enraged Godzilla, and it wasn't much fighting left after that. And then the final blow was Godzilla and Minya giving them full atomic breath, and that set Kumonga ablaze, and was the end of Kumonga. But it's a pretty entertaining deal. The movie's entertaining, but I love this fight that happened in the film. Kumonga versus Minya and Godzilla from the 1967 film Son of Godzilla. That is number 8. Number 8 on my top 10 kaiju battles of all time. We'll move on to number 7 right now. Here it is, everybody. Number 7 on my list of top 10 kaiju battles of all time. It will be 1973's Godzilla versus Megalon. I have kind of the whole cast here. I don't have a 30 centimeter Megalon. I used to have 25, but I sold it in hopes of a 30 centimeter. I do have a 30 centimeter Megalon on commission through Mark Sing Yang. I'll get that eventually, but I'm hoping X Plus will give us a 30. And I'm standing in with the 72 Gigan. But I love the battle in the film when Godzilla finally shows up at the end. Of course, Gigan and Megalon are putting hurt on Jet Jaguar, but then Godzilla shows up instantly and whips both Gigan and Megalon like by itself initially. And I think, in my opinion, that spurs Jet Jaguar to fight harder, and that leads them on to victory. To me, I always felt like he got inspiration from the way Godzilla was fighting. But the fight even after that was really good. It was entertaining. It's fun. It's a very fun, kind of goofy in ways, but it's fun. The kaiju battle was very good, in my opinion, in the film. And Godzilla and Jet Jaguar prevail at the end. And of course, we get the famous 1973, the handshake here. One of the greatest scenes in a Godzilla movie. And I had to have this. That's why I got it, because I love that scene. I love that music at the end of the movie. It's just great. But the whole thing is great. But I love this tag team match. This is my tag team for the 70s as well. My favorite, Jet Jaguar and Godzilla. But I love the action and the kaiju fun, and just it's great. The whole fight sequence, that whole end of that movie is, to me, top-notch fun. So this is number 7 on my top 10 kaiju battles list, Godzilla versus Megalon. We'll move on to number 6 right now. All right, everybody, up to number 6 on my top 10 kaiju battles of all time, and it would be King Kong versus Godzilla 1962. It would be their final battle, of course. The first meeting was pretty one-sided in Godzilla's favor, and it was extremely short. But the second time, when they airlifted Kong over top of Godzilla up Mount Fuji, dropped him a higher elevation on Mount Fuji, and he rolled down and hit Godzilla, and from that moment on, it was a knockdown, drag out. It was back and forth. Godzilla had the advantage early, pretty much had Kong defeated, and then Mother Nature threw Kong a bone, I would say, with the lightning, and that brought Kong all kinds of to life. It was a great fight, great battle, great balance in the fight, I thought. Good time. Kong was, when he was hitting him, he was electrocuting Godzilla, and Godzilla didn't like that. Every time he was touching him and hitting him, and slamming him, and it was just, you could see the electric. It's pretty cool, just the whole effect of it and stuff. And when he grabbed him by his tail and swung him, there was electrical charges going up Godzilla's tail from Kong's electrified power. It was really cool. But it was a back and forth battle all the way. But after the lightning, I think Kong really had the upper hand. And in my opinion, Kong won the battle overall. That's just my opinion. But he really took it to Godzilla after the lightning took effect. And it was a great battle, great fight, great balance in the fight. It was pretty evenly matched too. Godzilla had the upper hand at first by leaps and bounds until the lightning. Even after Kong got the lightning power and Godzilla blew his atomic breath, hit him straight square flush in the chest, Kong just took it like a man and screamed and ran right over and tackled Godzilla. It was just a very impressive fight. So this is number 6 on my top 10 all-time kaiju battles. Number 6, Godzilla vs. King Kong from 1962. We'll move on to number 5 right now. Oh yeah, everybody, it's number 5 on my top 10 kaiju battles of all time. It is Godzilla vs. Hedera from the 1971 film Godzilla vs. Hedera, or also known as Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. The final battle is the one I'm focusing on here. It's a really gruesome battle in my opinion, and Godzilla barely does this. It's kind of the situation with Gamera and Gauss. I don't know if he beats Hedera without the help of the military and the panels. And with his breath hitting those and drying Hedera up, that's what does it for Hedera. But without them panels, does he beat Hedera? I don't know. This was the first movie, in any Godzilla movie when I was little, I remember thinking, oh my God, Godzilla's going to lose this when I was watching him fight. Hedera really put it on him. Of course, he gave him an eye patch. He messed up his hand with the acid. He busted up the side of his nose. He was just a mess. He was a mess. This is my custom 71 Godzilla. We don't have an X Plus 71, but here's my X Plus 68 standing in for a 71. It's the same suit, so I figured I would use him as both of these as my Godzillas in the collection. I have a lot of Hedera, as you can see. I have the 25 centimeters, the crawling, the first walking, final form walking, 30 centimeter, custom, flyer, lethal real line. I got a good collection from this movie. But the whole fight is pretty awesome. It makes you think Godzilla is going to lose. That's what I thought when I first watched it. I was like, oh my God, Godzilla's going to lose. That's what I felt like when he was down in that pit and Hedera pooped all that sludge on him, all that acidic sludge and stuff, and he's down in there just wallowing away and blowing his fire blindly. That's when I was like, he's going to lose, you know. He's definitely going to lose. Because Hedera before that had just picked him up with his flying form and carried him up the mountain and then dropped him, and then he rolled all the way down into that cavern, that pit, and that's when he just pooped on him basically. But it was really a back and forth toss and go battle until Godzilla seen what the panels did, and then he figured it out. I gotta keep him in front of these things and to finish him off, and he did. But it's a great fight. It's a crazy movie overall, kind of funky, but I love the soundtrack in the movie. In a lot of ways it's goofy and crazy, but I like it, and I love the movie. I love this character of Hedera. Love their battle. It's really awesome. This is number 5 on my top 10 kaiju battles list of all time. Godzilla vs. Hedera, the final fight from 1971. Let's move on to number 4 right now. Oh yeah, number 4 on my top 10 kaiju battles of all time is 1974 Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Would be the final battle when he comes back at the end of the film. Not their initial meeting when the imposter Godzilla is revealed as Mechagodzilla. It is the final battle when King Caesar and Godzilla face Mechagodzilla. Of course, this is the only King Caesar I have right now. Until we get a 30 centimeter. I do have a custom commission 30 centimeter from Mark Sing Yang. All this stuff's 30 centimeter scale, and I just need that to complete it. But I do have his Awakening in the rock here, so I thought I'd bring it up too to represent King Caesar. But that battle at the end of the film, of course, King Caesar's awoken, and he's put up a good fight against Mechagodzilla initially. He's deflecting his rays back at him. He has the ability to catch a laser or rays like that and then deflect them back, which he was doing a good job. But then the missiles started coming into play, and his other attacks, Mechagodzilla's other attacking weapons, and it started to mean the downfall of King Caesar. He was getting his butt kicked. He's hiding behind the large rock formation, and he takes his chest laser there and just chops it right in half, and then he boom, his head goes down like he's about done. And about that time, Mechagodzilla is about to finish him off with some missiles, but Godzilla pounds up from the sea, and then you think, yeah, Godzilla's going to whip his butt, and then Mechagodzilla does this to Godzilla. This right here. I mean, I was like, whoa, oh my God, like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, he is absolutely gonna lose. I mean, when you see something like this, he busted his neck open and it was spewing blood everywhere before the missiles. Then he stuck all the missiles in him. I mean, it was just, when you're a little kid, you're like, oh my God, like, this Mechagodzilla was so terrorizing compared to 75, in my opinion. That's why I've picked this movie. I just love that final fight between all these guys. And Godzilla takes a beating, as you can tell. He took a beating in the movie, but once he got the magnification powers, it was a very limited time for Mechagodzilla after that. But it's a great fight, great sequence. I loved it. I think it's awesome. And it's number 4 on my list of the top 10 kaiju battles of all time. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla from 1974, the final fight. We'll move on to my number 3 right now. This is crazy. Number 3 is a CGI battle, but this was a most amazing, brutal battle, and any one of the most amazing, brutal kaiju battles I've ever seen. Number 3 is Kong versus Ramarack from the 2017 film Kong Skull Island. I know y'all can't see me because I've got the breadth of my Kong Skull Island collection on this table, and it's crazy, but it's number 3. That's the final battle, of course, at the end when he fights the big one, they call it, but it's Ramarack. The battle is vicious and brutal, and it's a good test of Kong. It's just brutally vicious. That Skullcrawler is not messing around. They draw blood on each other. They get beat the hell out of each other. Kong whacks him several times really hard, pounding him with his fist, pounding him against the side of the canyon, pounding him, slamming him on it with his tail, hitting him in the square in the head with a large tree. It's just a constant battle. Hitting him with a large propeller from a ship. It's just an amazingly brutal battle, and that's why, one of the reasons why I think Kong has a definite chance next year against Godzilla. Very good chance, actually. I think he's gonna be quicker. I think he's gonna be faster, more mobile. And this battle with Ramarack proved it to me that he has what it takes to hang in any fight, any battle. And it's going to be a very good movie. I think it'll be very good. But this is a crazy collection. I realized when I got it all up here together, it's kind of crazy. But I love every one of these pieces. I wouldn't trade them for nothing. And that fight is just so awesome in that movie. I love that final fight. It's just very awesome. He has some little fights they show throughout the movie with the smaller skull crawlers, but this one is the threat. Ramarack is the threat to Kong in the film and to the whole civilization of the island. And Kong handles his business in the end and takes care of Ramarack in a brutal way by ripping his insides from out. And it's just amazing. I have a custom sculpt coming of that when Kong kills Ramarack too, and it's probably 16-inch scale, I think, is what me and Mark agreed on. And that is going to be down the line, not too far away. There's 2 in front of it. It'll be 3rd on the list. So, but I love this movie, and I love that battle scene at the end. Number 3 on my list of top 10 kaiju battles, Kong versus Ramarack 2017. We will move on to number 2 right now. Here we are with number 2, everybody. Number 2 on my top 10 kaiju battles of all time is Godzilla vs. Gigan from the 1972 film of the same title. I love the movie. Favorite baddie right here, Gigan, for me. He's number 1. King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla are tied for 2 as far as my favorite Godzilla adversaries. Number 1 though, Gigan by itself. Favorite design right here. I hope he makes it to the Monsterverse. But this movie is awesome. Of course it has some issues, but I can live with that because this monster's design is so unique, so crazy, but crazy in a good way, and it's awesome. And when he finally shows up and they get into this fight, it's a good fight, it's a good battle. And their whole time, the aliens are trying to draw Godzilla to this, the Godzilla Tower, the other enemy in the film, which I do consider the tower to be an enemy, because what happens in the movie, does Godzilla win this battle if the humans don't blow up the tower's head? Does he? I don't think so, because the tower and Gigan were putting the smackdown on Godzilla while Ghidorah was fending off Ghayra. It was just a crazy battle. The whole thing's good. Of course, Gigan draws blood on Godzilla for the first time in the film, and then when you're a little kid, you're like, "Whoa, what in the world?" Godzilla's bleeding, but then the tower is just pummeling Godzilla with laser after laser after laser, and he's basically motionless on the ground. And by that time, they had blown up the communication area, the head of the tower. But if it wasn't for that, I mean, logically thinking, Godzilla loses this fight, in my opinion. So it was that close of a brutal, ugly battle, and Gigan really took it to Godzilla. He earned being in the title of the movie, because he definitely was putting a good whooping on Godzilla until the tower got destroyed and Godzilla came back after that. So, but significance of the movie is my favorite adversary and Haruo Nakajima's final appearance as Godzilla in the franchise. This is my 71 custom, again, standing in for 72. I hope that we get a 72 one day. But this is a very admirable look to the 71/72, 68 through 72 suit, where Mark Sing-Yang did a good job. But yeah, this was his final appearance as Godzilla, and it holds a fond memory to me for that, as much as Gigan being my favorite adversary. But this is number 2 on my list for the top 10 kaiju battles of all time, Godzilla vs. Gigan from 1972. We'll move on to number 1, and if people really know me, they probably know what number 1 is. We'll move on to number 1 right now. Y'all already know. Y'all know me. Favorite movie of all time, best movie ever made. King Kong 1933. Kong versus the TRex or Allosaurus, either one you want to put it, in the film. When you're a little kid and you first see this, you are awestruck by it. And It's just amazing, and you don't know how they done it. And then when you grow up a little bit and you find out that these were actually puppets and they look like they were as big as they are, it's really amazing. This is my favorite movie of all time, as I've said many times, and I love the whole thing. It is the greatest adventure movie ever made for my 2 cents. And this sculpt I had done by Mark Sang-Ying, it was the no-brainer sculpt I wanted from the movie. I've got several from this film, but it was the no-brainer combo sculpt that I wanted. Was him on riding the T-Rex right before he just vanquishes the T-Rex, breaks his jaw. But of course in the movie he had put the girl up in the tree and went back, doubled back to because he heard the explorers following him, and he went back and vanquished them off the log. And then he was trying to get Jack in the cavern, in the side of the cavern, and then here comes the T-Rex, and she screams, and he hears her, and he runs over there, and then this battle ensues. And it is one of the greatest kaiju fights, in my opinion. It is the greatest kaiju fight, without question, in my eyes. For my 2 cents, this is what got me into Godzilla and everything else. This right here, so it's my number one, with no regrets, with no doubts at all. I love this film. I love this movie. I love Kong. He is a very, very wonderful, amazing kaiju, and in most of his movies he meets a tragic end. That's why I do like the MonsterVerse Kong so much, because he's not dying in this. He's got at least one more movie. I'm hoping he gets even another one after Godzilla vs. Kong. If the MonsterVerse goes on, I would love to see another Kong film, because the Kong Skull Island movie did good. It's the highest grossing MonsterVerse film to date so far. So I think that shows that Kong has legs here in the United States, because he's more recognized here than the Godzilla is. That's just my opinion. I mean, he is an American-made monster, and that movie is the highest grossing movie of the MonsterVerse to date. I think next year will beat that because of the factor of Godzilla and Kong in it. I think that will surpass that. I'm hoping it surpasses it. I'm hoping it does at least 700 million, so we have a chance of seeing more MonsterVerse movies. But Kong is the reason that I am into all of these almost 180 collectibles. So, but this scene right here is to me the most memorable in the movie. There's many memorable scenes, but this is the greatest kaiju battle in my eyes that I've ever witnessed. The whole dynamics of it, the whole battle throughout is awesome, and I love it. So this right here is number one in my top 10 kaiju battles of all time. It is King Kong versus the T-Rex, 1933. I appreciate everyone for watching, and Leslie, I hope you like my list. I don't know if you will or not, but because mine's a bit different than yours, but that is my list. It was not very hard, actually. It was easier than I thought to do. So I appreciate your challenge, Leslie, and I've answered it, and I hope I did you proud there. And this is Phil the Kaiju King. I will do a rehash of this in video style at the end of my 10 through 1, and I will sign off now. I want to wish you all a good day, and I will see you again very soon.